And he said, start it.
And he said, "Let there be live."
You're being like, that's much better. It's much better. Welcome, everybody, to the Average Intelligence Podcast. Eric, today we're talking about a movie that is as perplexing as it is memorable. And funnily enough, had it not been for physical media, many people would never have seen it.
And before we get into this, this is free on YouTube. You don't have to sign
Mhm.
up on anything. If you're on YouTube, you can watch it, and it's right here. So
Yep.
this is actually a segment I want to start doing on my own. I'm going to find YouTube videos, movies on here, and let you know whether or not they're worth the watch. And they're on YouTube, so they're free. You don't have to pay for it. You're already here anyway.
And legally,
Watch them.
mind you. Somebody didn't upload
Yeah,
it, but cue that intro music real quick.
exactly.
We choose to go to the moon, investigate, and do the other things.
Weird. Weird.
You know, someone said that frickin' Panera's Pepsi's taste funny.
Better.
No, I mean,
What?
Anyway, so yeah, back to the movie.
Yeah, so some quick fun facts before we get heavily into talking about the movie in and of itself. But to let everybody know, tonight's podcast is brought to you by our friends at Paramount Plus and by Vizard.ai. The movie, a lot of people don't know this. I didn't know this for many years. The movie, What Dreams May Come, is based on the 1978 novel by
Hmm.
Richard Matheson. And I'm sorry, I'm just making sure everybody can hear you real quick. Um,
Hello.
Shut up, Jake. Anyway, I'll be able to hear it. If the name Richard Matheson sounds familiar to you, you would be correct.
I don't think you can hear me.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking. Oh, yep, there you are.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
There we go.
So anyway, the name may sound familiar because this is the same author who wrote the novels I Am Legend and A Stir of
Oh,
Echoes.
no, all great books now. Well, great movies now. I know
I
they're
was going to say
books.
both of which were also turned into Hollywood, and he did a lot of work on screenplays as well, but several of his novels were turned into movies, and this one is no exception. And it's interesting because there are a lot of very different. Um, there's a lot of differences between the book and the movie, and there's a short introduction, and I want to. There's a reason of that conclusion. Yeah, okay. So the introduction, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but and it gives you some idea of, I think, kind of what he's going for in the novel. The manuscript you are about to read came into my possession in the following way. On the evening of February 17th, 1976, our doorbell rang and my wife answered it. Several moments later, she returned to the bedroom where we were watching television and said that a woman wanted to see me. I got up and walked down the front hall. The door was open, and I saw a tall woman in her 50s standing on the porch. She was dressed and holding a large she was well dressed and holding a large bulky envelope in her hands. "Are you Robert Nielsen?" she said. I told her that I was, and she held out the envelope and said, "This is for you then." So allegedly, the way the story starts out is the manuscript that was drafted via a seance through Chris Nielsen, who is the protagonist of the film and the novel. The manuscript somehow comes into the possession of his brother. So it's an interesting read. So it's being portrayed as an account, which is interesting because, and we'll get into more of the symbolism later, but this book borrows heavily from the Divine Comedy in
Did
a
you pick that
different
up, or
way.
did you already have it?
I already had it.
Oh, that's cool. All right. So, did you prefer the movie over the book, or the book over the movie?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read the book yet. I just know that
Okay, that's
it's
fair. I didn't know if you just owned it or how.
um I think
There we go.
honestly, based on what I know about the novel, I'm probably gonna prefer the movie in this case, although I Am Legend is the reverse. The book's way better. Not that the movie's bad, but
Right.
the book's way
But
the
yeah,
ending makes way more sense in the novel of I Am Legend. But we're not talking about I Am Legend. We're
yeah,
talking
but this
about
this this movie above all movies like is just such a beautiful movie. Like they did it so well and it aged beautifully. Like
well,
it's really not
interesting.
bad looking. Like, on YouTube at least. Like I don't know,
Well,
but the
no,
compression
there's a reason behind that though. They used a type of film that's normally used for photography, not cinema film. So it's very vibrant because it's not designed for movie film, but they used it for that.
that's interesting. That I've never any other films that they've done that on?
Not very many. I don't know of any, but from what I understand, it's not a normal thing. In the late 90s, this would have been a
Hey, Dad.
film stock. You're good.
You see, we
This would have been a film stock that was used for movies that were going to be heavily effects heavy
Mm-hmm.
to get those vibrant sort of colors. Um, and then just another thing, the title, for those who haven't put it together yet, is taken from the most famous passage from Shakespeare's Hamlet. Quote, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. So it is very on the nose, but in a way that makes sense because it is referencing death.
When did you first watch this movie? How old were you?
I don't remember. I was young, so I didn't like it for the longest time because this is not a kids movie.
No.
They will find
Dude,
it
I don't
boring or
I watched a lot of boring movies as a kid. Like, I don't know. I'm fairly certain I watched this when I was like 11 or 12. And I just remember just loving it. Like, it was, I don't know, a good story. I've always loved stories too much. Like, even though, like, we'll watch
I,
something, you're like, it's clearly bad, but then I'll just get taken up by the story. Like the Batman. Like,
I love stories.
I like the story, and
I
who's
just
got the
want
stories?
I just want good stories, and this is one of them. This one's a little bit different, but not in a bad way. So just a brief plot synopsis, and then you'll get a spoiler warning. So the film follows I guess you could say the journey of a man named Chris Nielsen, played by Robin Williams, who, after losing his children 4 years earlier, is killed in an accident. That's not a spoiler. It happens in like the first 10 minutes. Um, he goes to he goes to the afterlife. It's very heaven coded, but I don't. Do they actually ever say? Yeah, I think they do say heaven,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
it's yeah.
I think they even mentioned Jesus in the film too. So,
Ooh, I don't know about Jesus. I know they mention God, but it's very loosely, and it's fine because the story. Believe it or not,
because
and
of
this
what he
might,
said though, he's like God, he's up there somewhere.
yeah,
And so that would mean that they haven't even actually seen God yet. And it's like that's
right.
interesting.
Well, but here's the other interesting thing. This might be a hot take, but this movie's not about the afterlife.
Mm-mm.
This movie is about grief and how it reshapes reality.
Yep,
Because
absolutely.
if you really watch this movie, you realize that everything that Chris sees comes from his own mind. And they say as much, especially in the beginning. But so anyway, Chris dies in the accident. And then again, this isn't a spoiler because it's what drives the plot.
Chris is played by Robin Williams in the movie, FYI, for any.
Chef's kiss performance.
Mhm.
As always, I've never even I've seen Robin Williams movies that I didn't like, but it wasn't because of him.
And who was his wife's actor's name? Was it? I
I
don't
knew I
want to
should
say
have written that down.
Naomi
It
Judd, but
wasn't.
like,
No,
okay,
it's a
I
name
think
I'm
so.
not overly familiar with, but
She's good looking. She's a good
so
looking woman.
so she ends up committing suicide out of grief, and then it becomes Chris's mission to quote unquote rescue her from the hell of her own making. Because while this movie does, I guess if you're going with Catholic belief, suicides do go to hell, but this movie, I don't want to say they justify it, but they in the way this movie explains it is people who commit suicide go to hell, but not because it's a punishment, it's because they trap themselves.
Yeah, they basically don't forgive themselves for how, for basically killing themselves.
Hmm.
You know, they don't know they're actually there. They're just like the way the film portrayed it was just oh.
It's yeah, it's a really beautiful sentiment. And then so this is your spoiler warning, because now we're gonna be
Oh,
getting
oops,
into.
sorry.
Oh no, no, I we haven't done any spoilers yet because again,
I'm very bad about getting off track, so
Annie dying is what drives the plot.
it
It's not
wasn't
a
Robin
spoiler.
Williams.
It's well, I mean, if it says it on the back of the DVD, then it's not a spoiler.
All right.
Um,
Like man dies, goes to heaven. Oh my gosh, he goes to heaven?
what?
When do we find that out? At the beginning.
So I've said this before. I'll say it 100 times more. Um, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I'm not even tired. But Robin Williams has the only thing I can describe it as the happiest sad face I've ever seen because he has a way where he smiles with his face and it's genuine, like it's a real smile, but his eyes are still so sad and carry so much weight. And I don't know where this came from, but he's the best to have ever done it. And you get it a
Uh,
lot in this movie.
what about Andrew Garfield though?
Ooh, you know what? You say that. I still think
I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm gonna say they're both
because
equally
they're different,
damn
but
good.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh man, how awesome
But
would it have been to have seen Robin Williams and Andrew Garfield act alongside each other?
that would have been pretty
That
crazy because
that would have
I
been
feel like
wild.
Garfield can be funny.
Oh yeah, he absolutely can. That would have been
But
interesting.
anyway,
Um, so yeah, I guess we'll start with the unpleasant part. Is there anything about this movie you don't like?
uh,
Because we're gonna gush over it a
the
lot. So I,
the part about the divorce and stuff like that and whatnot, because obviously that they're in love, but like how selfish she was, and at the end of the, when she kills herself, like it just shows her absolute selfishness. Like she seems selfish in the movie, like because she was in the mental institution.
see, I'm not.
I'm
I
not. I'm not trying to say
I,
she was selfish. I'm saying she was mentally ill. Absolutely. Like
yeah.
I got to remember that. I'm kind of going off the cusp.
Here's the thing: is I'm not saying you're wrong, but I do disagree with you because I think the divorce moment is the
You think she was
catalyst
trying to save him?
in a way. Because basically how she describes it is, we're too different because Chris felt like he had to be strong for everybody, but because he felt that way, he isolated from her. And after I can only presume what losing a child is like. I can imagine it's one of,
That's
if not
true.
the worst things ever. And
Yeah, we forgot to mention that part too.
yeah, she would
That
have
was the
never felt.
beginning of the movie.
Yeah, the beginning. So yeah, I always describe it to people as like, oh yeah, it starts out sad and it just goes downhill. But
If you
but
think it's bad, it gets worse.
but it comes back up in the end, which is like that's the good thing about it.
It's a Hito
Um,
movie.
see, I'm kind of with you before, but after this last rewatch I did, I actually really like that moment. It's also how he's able to save her because he's finally able to just, as he puts it, or as she puts it, you were finally able to join me, and grief is okay. Like it's okay. The only thing is you you shouldn't, and I mean, I guess you can go through it alone, but you shouldn't go through it alone.
No, there's too many people around. Like no one's alone. Like if you're alone, like you you did some bad stuff.
Well, but the thing of it is like when you are grieving, it can be very easy to self-isolate.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's why it's vital if you know someone who is grieving, then you honestly you have to be obnoxious about it and you have to be okay with them yelling at you and telling you to fuck off and
And also, death is not the only type of grief. There's
No.
grief with everything. Like it's literally just a word, but you know, everybody carries it.
Oh, in this movie, it's one of the better representations of grief that I think I've ever seen on film because it never goes away.
Hmm.
And even though you see memories coming back from Chris that kind of reinforces the story that's happening, it also just twists the knife for you. So you're like, oh, I thought it was bad before, and now it's even freaking worse. But any other
Yeah.
moments that you didn't care for? Because I really only have one stink about it, and it's minor. It's not a big thing, and I understand why they did it because it's in the novel. But
The beginning, his big white shirt he's wearing. Just the collar was so huge it made him look like he had like half a helmet on. I was like, what is going on here? I was like, that wardrobe was like just kind of
oh,
eh,
they were trying to show the passage of time, I suppose, because that would have been
I
in the
guess.
that would have presumably been taking place in the late 70s
That would make sense.
because the
But
movie's
still,
set
I was
in present day 1998. So
right. I thought it was 97.
97, 98, I can't remember. I think
Okay.
the movie came out in 98, so and it's quote unquote set in present day. So the only thing I didn't like about it was the weird thing where the daughter was disguised as the Asian woman. I thought that whole thing was weird and unnecessary.
Well, it was because like he had to come to realization that he was dead and that he couldn't have his kids there because it would be too much emotion and he wouldn't be able to see the logic behind it
No,
because
I don't have
without
an
logic you
issue.
can't process
Yeah,
emotion.
I don't have an issue with the children being disguised because I actually really like the reveal of Cuba Gooding Jr. being his
Well,
son.
it was also their prior lives because souls can apparently go back down and live lives again. They
I don't
tell us
know.
that
Well,
in the
it couldn't have been his daughter's prior life because she remembers the story. And the reason I find it weird was because she talks about so like and this is it's a little issue, but it is an issue in the script. So she goes on to say that she picked that shape because it was a flight attendant that she and her dad had been on a flight, I think, to or from Singapore, and that was the stewardess. And Robin Williams' character with his daughter apparently smiled real big at the flight attendant and said something to the effect of like Asian women are so graceful and beautiful, blah 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 blah. And it's like that's weird considering the entire movie he's rightfully obsessed with his wife. It just seems like a really weird aside that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I didn't really put two and two together there. That's pretty creepy.
It's not even creepy. It's just like it doesn't make sense. Now in the novel, his so spoiler alert for the novel, his children don't die, and then his children are adults when he dies. So he does meet Albert. I'm sorry. He meets his cousin, who I think his name is Albert, but regardless, he meets his cousin, and then the Asian woman character is there, but she is a separate. She's her own deal. So yeah, it was just weird. Is I don't know. But that's really the only stink I have in the whole movie. So that's not bad.
Yeah, I don't have very many. Like it's just an overall good watch. Just don't expect a fast movie.
No, it's slow, but in a
It's
good
not
way.
it's slow, but it's beautiful. Like it's like a big chunk of beautiful that's slowly moving across a
Well, it
field of
also
beautiful.
well, actually, you know what? I only have one other stink. And it's again, it's not that
Stank.
I feel like the journey through hell is a little bit too quick.
No, because the thing is, it wasn't an actual literal hell. Like
That's true.
it was all metaphors and whatnot. And it was just like acting out metaphors consistently. Like I don't even know how to explain it. It was just it wasn't
It's all
literal
coming
hell
from
because
Chris's mind. Yeah.
when you step on when you see that field of faces, you remember
Hmm.
that?
Yep.
Okay, so the field of faces, but they could talk to people, but yet so they were able to talk to people, but yet if you came to the face of someone if you were able to go into their world like how he did with, I don't know if that was because they were soulmates, whatnot, but I mean, does that mean that they're in there freaking out, or are on the surface and they can talk? Is that like an NPC thing?
No, that's
That's
actually
way
that's
too deep diving, and that's what I was thinking when all this stuff's happening. I'm just like, so what's going on with them? Like they're not going to explain that to me. Now
I
my mind's going to
believe
be wondering.
I believe that's literally taken out of Inferno. The whole
That's
face is
yeah,
stuck in
because
the dirt.
the
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that was creepy. I remember that book. That was one of the only ones I ever read. I read it twice, and that was two of the hardest reads ever.
It's really good, and the kind of the weird irony is that most people's idea of hell actually comes from the Divine Comedy and not the actual Bible, because the symbolism just became so pervasive. That and Paradise Lost, both of them.
Yeah, that's what I've actually had an issue with modern day hell descriptions. Everyone thinks it is just a big fiery place, but in the Bible it literally just says separation from God.
Hmm.
That
Well,
could
and the other
that
thing,
could
the whole
simply just be dead completely, like
well,
never to exist
and
again.
also the concept of the nine circles of hell, like that's direct. That's the Divine Comedy. That's never, ever, ever mentioned in the Bible. Not once. It's not
Right.
there.
I've never heard anyone say that like it was real. I knew that was the Da Vinci. So I've known about that book for a very long time. Like I was agnostic for a very long time. So
It's very good. It's a very good read, and it's interesting, but it's also
hmm
political satire because
right.
he finds people he doesn't like all throughout hell. Like, I mean, it's I mean, like literally, like people who aren't even dead yet sometimes, and he's like, "Oh, you're that crooked accountant that I don't like. Oh, I see where you are." It's very funny. Okay, so now I guess the end scene where he tells the other guy to piss off and that he's going to stay with his wife in hell. Like, oh my God.
That was that was beautiful. That when I say the movie is beautiful, the entire movie, it's beautiful the entire movie. And like when he does that, yeah, but how he brings her back though, that was really cool.
Well, it was only
And
the
then
moment. It
he
was only the
lost
moment.
himself.
Well, but it was only in the moment that he stopped trying to save her and just decided to be with her come hell or high water, which is funny because both happened. Um, that's when
She
she's
popped
saved.
out of it.
That's when she popped
Which
out of it.
Which, by the way, what we're explaining is like he basically finds her in hell and goes into her hell room, if you will, or whatever. And then she's like literally freaking out that there's spiders everywhere. There's no electricity. She's like, I don't know, there's no electricity, and I can't get this to work. And this she's freaking out completely.
She doesn't
She
recognize
doesn't even
him.
know who he is at all, and then she just he's trying to talk to her, and apparently like Jake said he had to just join her, and that popped her out, and she was able to pop him out.
Yep.
Beautiful. Good story.
And also as an animal lover, I do love the fact that the first creature he meets in heaven is a
The
dog.
dog. Yeah, yeah.
I
You
love
know,
that.
and honestly, in the Bible, my wife found it. It was talking about how dogs are they are souls or not spirits. Yeah, they're souls or something like that. So she was like, oh, they're in heaven too. For anybody who's Christian, whatever.
Bro, if you're gonna put any animal in heaven,
Dogs.
like like
Why not?
they all
Like
get a pat.
cats
They
too. Cats
I know,
too.
I agree, but I mean if you're gonna put any animal in heaven,
Just no mosquitoes.
oh no, those little bastards go straight to hell where they belong.
Yeah, they come back every June. Well, actually, May.
They come out of the earth. Pestilence. So there is an interesting bit though. But before we get there, we're going to tell you a little bit about our first sponsor, that being Paramount Plus, which you used to be able to watch this movie on because this is a Paramount film, but they've licensed it to YouTube. So if you miss it on YouTube, you will probably be able to watch it on Paramount Plus. But also on Paramount Plus, you can get all your Star Trek, all of your Nickelodeon, all your Yellowstone, except they've licensed the original series to Peacock for some reason, but that's temporary. but it is a literal mountain of entertainment, and it can be yours for as little as $5.99 a month if you don't mind ads, which I don't because I'm also cheap. But the best part is if you use the first link in the description, you can try it for 7 days absolutely free, and we still get paid. So do it.
And keep just making new emails. Just kidding.
There you go. Let's keep using the link. So there's a lot of criticism about this movie and the novel, saying that the film and novel borrow heavily from Hinduism, specifically the reincarnation angle. And actually, I'm glad I researched this because I was originally like, no, but early Christianity had reincarnation. Not they did, but not to the degree that I thought they did. But it was there, and it's certainly present in New Age Christianity. That is a thing that, and
Dude,
this movie is extremely New Age Christianity.
yeah. I
That's not
mean,
good or bad, but it is a thing.
I don't know. I don't even as a Christian, I don't see any problem with reincarnation. I think that would actually be absolutely cool because why wouldn't you get to be able to do it over again
Well,
if
okay,
you want to?
so I'll dig into the weeds here. So my first thought was like, well, wait a minute, they're the Iranian theodicy, not the country, Iranius, the person. Um, Iranius kind of preached the idea of souls being conditioned over time. Now, where I made my mistake, and this isn't my fault, this is how it was explained to me in a college course, but it was incomplete. So Irenaeus never actually said reincarnation was a thing. He said that souls do come to Earth to experience life and suffering and all that good stuff. And then the evolution of the soul continues in the afterlife. Now, some newer thinkers brought up some understandable problems like, well, okay, but what about somebody that dies as a child? Their soul hasn't had a chance to mold. So that's where they kind of postulate that Irenaeus may have been inadvertently advocating for reincarnation. And that is sort of how it's understood by most people today, is the process of soul making, which actually does lend itself more to some of the newer ideas of Christianity, specifically the idea that every soul is inherently good. But Irenaeus was actually setting out to explain the problem of evil, because if you don't have evil, you don't have free. I mean, if you don't have with free will comes the potential for evil, and with evil comes the potential for suffering. And if your soul has to be molded through suffering, then evil is a necessary evil in the world.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know what the problem is, you know,
Oh,
why the world's gone to shit. You want to know why? I can tell you exactly why.
the
It's
gays.
because of no, dude, the 73 million abortions since the 1970s. All those souls keep getting reincarnated, so they're pissed off. They keep coming back, and now we have bad souls you guys are sending because they're pissed off. They want to reincarnate so they can get to the next level.
He's like,
They're
son of a
pissed
bitch
off.
again.
No wonder the world's in such a shit place. Quit killing your kids. That's the best argument for abortion.
Honestly, I cannot argue with that. I
Anyway,
cannot argue with that. But as I said before, but the problem a lot of people do have with that is that means that the soul that was Hitler and every piece of shit person that ever lived, their soul is inherently good because that's simply one lifetime in their journey of soul making.
dude, circumstances growing up, environmental, circumstances, how with the parent dynamic, whatnot, like that all shapes a person, so like
Well,
how they
fun.
grow up. And everybody wants to blame a higher creator. And I'm like, dude, blame the people raising the kids, blame the toxic factories putting the shit in the water, blame this, blame that. I was like, it wasn't him. He created all this for us, and we decided to do this.
Yeah, we
So
decided to
nobody
stink
else.
it up. Well,
Blame yourself, blame Canada.
it's always Canada.
That right, Justin, where you at?
They're not even a real country anyway. Dun, 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 dun. Um,
I was over
uh,
here just shooting guns. He's over here dropping nukes.
well, no, it's from the song.
I know.
But no, my conspiracy theory out there, and I'm open to being told I'm wrong, but nobody has ever actually been able to give me a credible
Wrong.
difference. Every person who has perpetuated evil or become like a massive dictator or done bad shit all stems from some kind of personal resentment.
Yeah.
Like take Adolf. I'll use Adolf Hitler because I brought him up before. He was an okay painter. He wasn't blowing the world apart, but he wasn't awful. He just couldn't draw people, apparently. And instead of just being like, hey, maybe I don't have to get into the Vienna art school, maybe I can get into another art school. Or maybe I can just try to do something different. Maybe I can get into architectural drawing, which apparently he was somewhat talented at. He just got real butthurt and decided that the entire world fucking sucked and they could, you know, suck it. Austria in particular, and the Jews in particular. So yeah, and I've nobody's ever been able to give me a world figure that turned out to be a tyrant that I can't find some form of personal, like Vladimir Lenin was pissed off because they executed his brother for being a terrorist, and he was big
Makes
mad at the
sense.
Tsar. Now, like, was the Tsar a great person? No, but the whole thing was he was pissed off because they killed his brother. It always comes back to a personal resentment.
You killed my brother.
Well,
Shouldn't have done that.
it all goes back to Cain,
The first kill, or the first killer.
the first killer. Yep, and that was a personal resentment.
Dude, speaking of Cain, the mark of Cain, if you've ever any of you out there have watched Supernatural, the mark of Cain, dude, that mark is so awesome. Like if I could get a scarring tattoo, that's about the only tattoo I'd ever get. I don't care for tattoos. I don't like the idea of ink in my skin. But
You
I
could
would
always
get
get
that
it branded.
scarification. Well, scarification tattoo, like you got to get it. That would probably hurt like crazy, but that mark is so sick.
I do not know, but apparently cold branding is not particularly painful, and it does the same effect. I don't know. I don't know, but apparently it's a thing, and it's a.
I'll look it up. I don't know. I probably wouldn't do that. That would probably be bad. The mark of Cain's not necessarily a good thing.
I was gonna say I don't know that that's the one I would land on, but to further go along here, it is important though because a lot of people do focus on the afterlife and reincarnation aspects of this movie. That's not what this movie is about. The reincarnation bit happens at the end to give it a nice happy ending and to tack on the fact that they're soulmates because it's kind of hard to be soulmates if you have one lifetime. It's a little
Well,
difficult.
but then, so then at the end, obviously, they decide to go back down and meet again. And
Hmm.
this time she doesn't kill herself.
Well, fun. Okay, so that's an issue. So I'll jump
Moral of
ahead
the
here.
story, don't kill yourself.
So here's fun. Apparently, they released a special edition DVD and a 2011 Blu-ray special edition that included an alternate ending, um, which is the ending of the novel, in which reincarnation is not a choice but part of the natural order. Um, Chris and Annie will meet again in their new lives, but Annie must atone for killing herself. Her new incarnation will die young, and Chris's new incarnation will spend the remainder of his life as a widower before the two again are reunited in heaven.
Oh my gosh. So that new life that they get at the end of the movie has to go that way?
Well, no, in the alternate ending. In the original ending, no, it's just implied that they're going to, well, because they meet as children. Because in the novel
Oh,
and in the
okay. Okay.
alternate
In the
ending,
novel.
well,
Jeez.
and in the alternate ending to the film, which didn't make it to the theatrical cut, but so Chris is
I don't think I've seen
reincarnated.
the alternate.
I know now I want to, but Chris is reincarnated as a boy from Philadelphia and Annie as a girl from Sri Lanka. So they have to meet, obviously, through one of them traveling. And funnily enough, too, this surprised me. Did you know that this movie was a box office bomb?
Yep.
Just
They
wow! It
always
only
typically go that way.
it only brought with a budget of 85 to 90 million dollars, not including advertising, which this I don't think this movie was heavily advertised. It only grossed 75.4 million worldwide and only 55 million domestically.
Yeah, but the money it made on home video
It
and
it
now
became
streaming and everything else.
it became a cult classic, like so many movies did, which is funny because you would think the industry wouldn't want to move away from physical media because so many movies did crap at the box office and then they recouped basically all their money and actually turned a profit through home video release and rental.
Yeah.
And now you theoretically can through streaming licenses, but honestly, physical media brought in so much more money.
Hmm.
I don't know why. And honestly, the movie holds up pretty well. Like some of the VFX look a little dated, but it's not that bad. I've seen far worse. I've seen far worse from modern cinema. The Flash comes to mind.
Yeah, honestly, if they would just take that back to final processing or whatever and just redo AI or whatever, they could literally just finish it with AI. I hate to say it. The
Well,
movie's pretty much finished.
funnily
AI could
enough,
just fix it.
they technically can't because the original reels were destroyed in a fire. I mean, I guess
I forgot about that.
they could digitally remaster it, but
Oh, hello.
oh, look at you, Lucky. Some wing stole.
Look, looky. That's Mickey D's, bruh.
Oh, is it Mickey D? Oh, I saw the blue. It looked like, oh, it's a
Dude,
light.
I would kill for some Wingstop, man.
Dude, you
So
and me
damn
both.
good.
You and me
The
both.
chicken tenders, bro. Oh my word.
I was delightfully surprised, but I can never resist their wings, man. Like,
I don't really care for them. They're just run of the mill wings. Like they're good, but like honestly, they're the same wings everywhere you get. But like the hot honey rub, I don't know. Would you just get your stuff plain?
no, I'll alternate. Sometimes I get the mild. I really like their honey barbecue is not bad, but I don't know. I usually get that or
Is a hickory barbecue. Ugh.
yeah,
It's too
it's a little
hearty. Like
sweet. Yeah.
I didn't even it wasn't even sweet. It was hickory. It's gross.
I might be thinking about it. I normally like hickory, but I might be
I
thinking of
wish I
something
wish
different.
they had sweet barbecue sauce. I even said that on something. Anyway,
I was gonna say, but their lemon pepper is don't sleep on their lemon pepper.
I'm gonna have to try it though.
It's good stuff. It's not spicy, obviously, but it's good. Also, like, how good was Cuba Gooding Jr. in this movie?
Amazing. Yeah, but like that was another thing. Right. I understand why um they had to hide and whatnot, like who they were, but like that was just weird. Like I agree with you, and I'm kind of going back on what I said earlier. I think that's kind of weird.
I didn't mind it so much with Cuba Gooding Jr. because the whole dynamic of his relationship with his son is that he never listened to his son, so he chose to appear as someone that he would listen to, and
Right.
that's the bit, right? I also really, and I somehow missed this. They cut back to the memory where they're finally kind of starting to understand one another, and he says to his son, he's like, "But hey, if I were walking through hell, there's nobody else I'd want by my side." And then as they're
Hmm.
about ready to walk through hell,
He
he's
figures
like,
it out.
"Oh shit, it's my son." Which honestly,
Yeah.
Chris, took you a little bit longer than it should have, and kind of don't like the fact that you instantly jumped at the chance to see your daughter and kind of seemingly forgot all about your son. And there's a couple of shots, and they do this deliberately. There's a couple of shots where they cut to Cuba Gooding Jr.'s face where he's just like, "Really, really, Dad,
I mean, kind of like me right now with the bag. Really? Really?
really,
Really
really,
right
Dad?
now?
Okay, okay." I
Yeah,
thought
that
there
was
was a,
pretty bad, on his part, but he came together at the end. No,
yeah,
he figured it out.
he put it together, and he did ask about his children, but I guess when he saw his daughter's stuffed animal, he got excited because he thought she was there immediately.
Nope. She
No,
was an Asian lady giving people tugs and rubs.
she was giving them hot towels and beverages. She was a flight attendant.
You want a towel?
Want to get hot? Which is a well. Speaking of AI, though, guess what, everybody? Especially if you're content creators like we are, there is an AI tool that can make your life immensely more easy. More easy. I almost said more easier. And here's a short video to tell you all about it right now.
Stop wasting your time on manually editing your videos. The secret AI tool will do the work for you. One of the best things about it is that it gives your video the potential to go viral. Visit this page, sign in, create a project by clicking on this button. Choose a video that you want to use. Click on the AI clip button. Wait for the magic. It is scanning through the video and looking for the parts that has the potential to go viral. Instead of editing the video by yourself, it does the work for you. It even generates headline and captions which fit your video. Another surprise is that they generate video description or social post for you to use. Once done, click Export to post.
Crispy. It's just like empty crispiness. It's weird.
Oh, a hollow crispy.
It's
So
a soulless fry.
so if you're interested in trying out Visitor.ai, use the second link in the description. They will set you up. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. It's even better now than when I first started using it. I'm trying to think. So I actually really dug when he first gets to heaven, the paint world that he created. Like visually, that was really cool and
It was
practical.
very,
Well, not all
yeah,
practical, but
dude. When he just jumps off the thing, he's just like, screw it. He's just ah!
well, I mean, Cuba Gooding Jr. says he's like, "What do you think? You're gonna die? You're already
You know,
dead."
but the thing is, at first though, he's like, you can't fly, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, this is heaven. Why can't he fly? And he said, think running really fast. And then we actually get to the innards of heaven, and people are flying. I'm like,
I think he means that like you gotta walk
you got to
before you
walk
run.
before you fly. Yeah, I get it. I understand the metaphor, but guess what? If heaven is the way you say it is, it's not gonna need
Then
that walk before run.
you can fly. Yeah.
You're just gonna know.
Well, but the whole point of the beginning is that Chris is having trouble accepting that he's dead, which also, interestingly enough, um, because he's sticking around with his wife before she dies. He's sticking around with her for a while, and the moment he finally gets that he's just doing nothing but hurting her is knife in the chest. Absolutely horrible.
He figures it out, and
Yep.
then yeah, because I've heard that actually in many different stories. Like if the dead hang around and don't let go, that it actually makes the people, their loved ones, more depressed.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
this movie puts forward the idea that a spirit, while not literally visible, can influence a person. Like he's making her write, or he's influencing her writing. She can quote unquote feel him when he's near. And yeah, the moment where she just screams at his gravestone, that's like, twist the knife, man.
well, I mean, in terms of like God and whatnot, I was like, man, they did her dirty, killed her kids, killed him, whatnot, and I'm just like, like obviously the message is just there's reason for everything, so it's like you got to figure out why, and you just get stronger and stronger, I
Well,
guess.
and that's why I think the ending is necessary because it's a comfort. It's like after all this,
Something beautiful.
at least there's
Still,
something beautiful there at the end.
two little young kids
Yep.
just giggling at each other on
Yep.
sailboats in the middle of a freaking lake by themselves.
Well, they must have been reincarnated in the late 90s.
Yeah, to where they actually,
Where are
could
your
fend for
children?
themselves.
Where are your children? Sun's still out. I don't know.
He went down the store to get a pack of smokes for me.
For real. Still happens in Mexico. I've seen it. It does. Um,
They didn't lose their chest hair. That's the problem.
no, but I gotta say, if you haven't seen What Dreams May Come yet,
Do
I
it.
don't I don't like trigger warnings, but I will say this. If you've recently dealt with a spat of grief,
Mm.
like if you've lost someone recently, I would recommend putting this one on the back burner, or at the very least, don't watch it by yourself. And do not hesitate to turn it off if it's too much for you. If I were you, I would just wait because it'll be there.
Depending on how you deal with grief.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
people
It's all
process
you.
easier. Yep.
It's all up to you. But okay, if you've lost a spouse or a child recently, I would probably recommend not watching this one immediately. But hey, it might do something for you. I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist.
Played one on TV though.
Nope, never played a psychiatrist. How about the twist where Albert was the finder? The real Albert was the finder. The old
The
guy?
real his teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I couldn't remember. But he was also who else?
The finder, the old guy with the glasses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I
He revealed
stuff's
himself to
going
be
on.
that at the very end. Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess in closing, at least as far as I'm concerned, it's a beautiful film, both visually and the script is, generally speaking, very good. Robin Williams hits a 10 out of 10 performance. I actually understand though why the movie didn't do so great in theaters because this is one that you honestly have to watch more than once and you kind of have to sit with it.
Yeah,
I can understand why a theater going audience wasn't crazy to watch it two or three more times. Like I
yeah.
get it.
It's actually pretty long too, isn't it? In like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like
It
that.
certainly feels like it, but again, this is one of the few times where I'm okay with the pacing being a bit slower
Hmm.
because again, some of the stuff you have to sit with.
It's slow, but it's steady.
Slow and steady. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it.
Like literally, that's just the entire movie. It's just like it's continued melancholy. It's just like
Continuous melancholy is not an inaccurate description of this film.
it's like literally you're just on a boat, just going.
And I mean, things just keep getting worse until they get better, which, funnily enough, is usually how it goes.
Hmm. Great movie though, fantastic. I give it an 8.5.
Really, an 8.5. You know what? I don't disagree with that because it's not perfect, but it's not the things that I dislike are probably a me thing, and they're not glaring, not to the point that they ruin it. You know, not like
Right.
the Batman.
Boom,
But
boom, boom,
you
boom,
just like it
boom.
because of the song. I'm still convinced
That's
you just like that movie because of the song.
dude. The whole movie was ingrained with that song. It was pretty badass. The score of the movie made the movie.
And Robert
The rest of the movie
Pattinson's
was shit. All right. I'm gonna
speaking of
admit
shit,
it.
and Robert Pattinson smelled a fart acting.
The movie was shit, but the song was awesome, and it made the movie actually good and watchable. Take the song out, completely change it up, movie would suck.
Oh, the movie sucked, but I guess the soundtrack made it better. But again, it's pile of shit versus bucket of shit.
No, dude, listen. It made us laugh uncontrollably in a theater of
Well,
people who were quiet.
that's just because I said at the beginning, like you can literally swap out dialogue from this movie and Twilight, and it's the same movie. Like it fits no matter where you do it.
I know, but I felt like we got a couple looks when we busted out laughing when the fat suit came
I'm
out
sorry
because
if you didn't laugh at that. I don't know what to tell you. That was hilarious
I don't know why it was so funny, but like we just
because it
Beavis and
was
Butthead just
ridiculous.
couldn't stop.
Oh god. Speaking of Beavis and Butthead, man, I'm obsessed with there's a TikTok channel. I know we're rambling now, we'll wrap it up, but there's a TikTok channel where somebody has two Boston Terriers and one of them has like a very pronounced underbite and the other one has like really buggy eyes. And they constantly upload videos with like
They're
sound
talking
bites from
it.
Beavis and Butthead.
I love it.
It's so funny. Hilariously funny. But any final thoughts to leave our audience with what dreams may come other than watch it?
No, I mean if you want to watch a good movie with Robin Williams, I mean if you're on a Robin Williams kick, that's definitely one of them to
Oh,
watch.
this is mandatory viewing if you're on a Robin Williams kick.
Have to.
Absolutely. Well,
It's
this
like Green
is
Mile has to be followed up by Shawshank or other way. Those are two great movies.
I don't disagree, but based upon what?
Me.
I thought you were going on a Robin Williams kick. I'm like, Robin Williams
No,
isn't
no,
in either one of those movies.
no. I just complete sidestep. But
Sidestep.
anyway,
Well,
watch this movie. It's fantastic.
yep. And speaking of complete sidestep, join us next week as we continue our February movie review week, where we're going to, and I'm very excited to hear your opinions on this movie, Eric. We're going to watch and go over God's Not Dead. And I'm going to go over how I would save the script and actually turn this into a very good movie.
I've never seen it before, so I'm going to watch it this week.
It's from a technical standpoint, there's nothing really wrong with it other than it's bland. Like production wise, there's nothing glaringly bad about it. There's nothing glaringly great about it. Well, I take that back. The cinematography and colors pretty good. I like bright, vibrant colors, so that's a me thing. The script is horrendous. The script is horrendously bad. Like to the point where it does things that don't make any sense, and you should instantly get what I'm talking about. It's
Well,
trying
it's
to be
probably done by people who don't know what they're doing, right? Like
well,
not they
being
like 90% know what they're doing.
it's being done by people who are trying to write a sermon and not a movie.
Hmm.
But trust me, we'll get there. I'm very excited for this, and I actually felt really. I was like, wow, I actually could have saved this movie if they had just asked me. I would have been like, why are you doing this? You have all the ingredients. This movie's frustrating because it had all the ingredients to be something really great. They just put it in the wrong order.
You're like, do you know who Kevin Smith is? Imagine him times two. That's me. I'm just kidding. I can
You know,
help you.
except without the horrendous amount of weed jokes. But anyway, join us next week when we talk about God's Not Dead. Watch What Dreams May Come. Check out Paramount Plus and Visitor.ai. And